Hey, what's going on? Fourth blog, 8 weeks out. Sorry it's been late. I've been prepping and I haven't had any Wi-Fi, technical difficulties. We will get them. So apologies. Right. Firstly, I'll start off with what's going on with what I'm doing. All the boring stuff, we'll get that out of the way. 8 weeks out now, I've made some huge changes in my lead up to the British, which is in 8 weeks today. I've mixed things around. I've made some changes in my camp, as some people call it, which we'll talk about another time. But so far, so good, and I think it will allow me to progress how my body's allowing it to progress as quickly as possible. Anyway, talk about that another time. But yeah, weight's coming down. I'm feeling pretty healthy as well, because normally about now I start feeling like I want to die. I did this time last year, but this time I'm fine. Cardio is still where it was. Foods have been switched around. Yes, very good. So everything's cool in that part of this blog. So everything's cool. Right, let's talk about some of the questions that you have asked me over the last couple of weeks, which I haven't been able to answer because, as I said, technical difficulties. So let's go. Let's start here. The most popular question I seem to get, I don't know why, and I don't know why me, but people who ask me about DC training. I'm not an expert on it, and I'm not going to talk about it now because it will take up a whole blog. I will try and get some more videos up explaining what I do. But in a nutshell, it's just push-pull legs. I can then use that in a rotation where I train every body part a little bit lower volume, more frequently, so I get to rest, recover and grow a little bit quicker than everyone else. So in my opinion, that gives you the best gains, and also your strength. You purposely increase your strength over time. We'll move on from that. Okay, this is from Jodie Moore. How do you know what meals you should be eating at particular times of day, such as chicken, steak and fish? This is all depending, because obviously the fat contents vary in those three. So it also depends on close to the show. As my carbs decrease, that's probably when I start bringing in foods like salmon. My steak, I respond quite well to steak. I keep that in fairly regularly. I think chicken's a decent steak. You can have that any time of the day, chicken. But I don't really know how to answer this question because I think it does vary from person to person. So for me, I keep a lot of my steak meals earlier on in the day. Chickens can be wherever, and I think towards the end of my prep is when I'll start adding additional like fish. So most probably more oily fish like salmon. I guess, because I can't stand fish. It's gross, and it doesn't thin your skin. Right, how do you keep your waist so tight in the off-season, please? That's from Ricky Cooper. I don't, because I'm fat. Off-season, most of the time. This last off-season, I've really had to pound the weight on because I know I'm going up to the Supers this year. So I'm still on track for that class. Everything's good. In terms of having a tight waist, I don't know if it's something you want to keep an eye on. I don't know if the whole wearing a belt all the time does anything. But I think overeating is a main factor here. If you're eating 8 meals a day and every time you're eating a meal you're just like full, probably best you're going to reduce your food because you probably will get fat as well. So just try and I would just say don't overeat. That's as simple as that really. Okay, this is from Carl Ratcliffe. What are your thoughts on Neil Hill's training? I think it's very good. It's very well rounded, I guess. I think the whole heavy, medium and light weight I think is very good for your joints as well, because a lot of people can really struggle with heavy weights week in, week out. And I know a lot of people can also suffer the same thing with a lot of high volume, high reps, drop sets, everything that can really wreak havoc on their joints as well. So I think it's a very good way, keep everything well rounded, keep the body fresh, and I think you can probably be able to keep it up a bit longer. So I think next year what I will do, because DC does take it out of you a lot, because you get really strong on a lot of exercises. So I think maybe I'll do 6 weeks DC, week off, probably 6 weeks of the Y3T, and then I'll go back to DC again. Just keep things progressing, I guess. Because obviously injuries are something nobody wants. I think it's a good idea if you don't want injuries. When training abs, how many times a week? Do you have any rules you stick with your ab workouts, etc.? And do I always finish with reps to failure? honestly, this was Michael Rackett, by the way, I don't actually train abs very often until I get a bit closer to the show. I've got quite genetically thick, the actual separation of the muscle that's quite thick genetically anyway. But I think if I wanted to bring them up, I'd just train any other muscle. I would hit them once, maybe twice a week. And if I was hitting them twice a week, I'd have the heavier session and the slightly lighter session. And I'd just train like any other muscle because you want them to grow, essentially. Not like a distended belly, but you want the actual thickness of the abs to sort of protrude more. So I think, train like you would any other muscle. This is one from Carly Thornton. How do I control my moods when I diet? I think you know the answer to this. I just take it out on you all the time. I'm sorry. So we'll move on from that. It's a bit touchy. Right, this is from my good man Bence from the gym. How's it going, man? Do I cut creatine out before a contest, and do I load 3-5 days out, or do I keep it in until the day? I think it's a really bad idea to mess around with too many variables last minute. I mean, I'm not an expert on this, I've only given it twice, but I think this is from what I've heard from a lot of people who know more than me, is making a lot of changes last minute is going to cock things up quite badly. Well, it can do. So for me, if I'm having creatine all the way through my prep, I may just keep it in as normal, or if anything, I'll drop it about 5-6 days out, because I'd rather do that than keep it in and risk carrying some water. So I think the less you can mess around with things, the better, basically. So yeah, cool. So I think that's the majority of the questions I've had. Another question that is quite frequent is, what am I having pre-post intra workout, like product wise, from Gaspari? I stick to the basics really. I use my Sizon and my Glycofuse Aminolast. That's what I have every day. I have a scoop of each, 2 scoops of Aminolast, and I start by drinking it about half an hour before I train. I keep going all the way to the end, and then have my Isofusion at the end. Sometimes I'll use Superdrive. It depends on how I'm feeling. If I've got legs in the morning, or I'm just feeling a bit like I'm just like Superdrive is the secret weapon there. So yeah, that's simple as well. Sorry, any of these answers haven't been particularly exciting because there's nothing really exciting to say. So yeah, that's about it. So sorry it's been late. I'll try and keep on track of these now, so hopefully my Wi-Fi will be fixed. If you've got Wi-Fi that isn't Virgin Media, can you please tell me what's a good one, because it sucks. It's bad. So every 10 minutes I'm trying to send emails, won't let me do it. So it's a ball ache. So if you guys know anyone that's good, let me know. Cool. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll try and answer some more questions next time and give you a better update on what's going on with me in the next blog.